This is the Zone Football League.
Welcome back to another episode of the Zone In podcast, where we talk everything Zone Football League across Newcastle. As always, I'm Mason, and joining me tonight, familiar faces. On my left, Wilso. On my right, Cameron. How are we, guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good?
Yeah, it's good to get involved with Cam on one of these shows.
Yeah.
I like the sound of his voice. So
He is the voice of Zone
He's
League.
the voice at the Zone League at the moment. I love that commentary.
Yeah. No, It's been good. And yeah, it's, as we were talking before, great to have a little rotation going on between us three and CT, always keeping it fresh. And something that is fresh and almost refreshing is actually getting games played this weekend. The weather stayed away for us, and we did get all but one game played. Unfortunately, the one game not being played was the Hamilton Azuri forfeiting against Newcastle Suns. Some may have heard a bit of the background of that and the memo sent out by the association towards the end of last week. Hamilton Azuri will not be completing the rest of this season, just due to a few unfortunate things for them. But yeah, still the results and everything for that have been worked out for the teams that have played them. Goals, best and fairest points and everything readjusted. So it is fair for across the whole comp.
So they're white. They go to 0 points, and any points.
From all their first half of the season games still stand, but the second half of the season games have been wiped, and will go down as, I believe, forfeit results. So just a simple 3-0,
cool.
And point difference and everything like that across the league will stand. So unfortunate to hear about that. But looking to brighter things across the rest of the league, some interesting results, some probably fair enough results, bits of movement up and down the table, and just emphasizing this, we are in the last week of the season. So a couple teams across the divisions with make-up games still to play during this week, and then this weekend being most of the teams that didn't get on in round 21, these games are being played then. So down to the wire now. We've been saying it for a while, but here we are finally closing in on the end. I'll rattle off a few of these results now, and we can then pick a few points to talk about. So we had Newcastle Olympic versus Mayfield United. Mayfield getting a 2-1 win over Olympic there. A draw between Swansea and Katara South. Probably, I'd say, one of the upsets of the round. Uni almost edging out Croatia, but the Croats there getting that 3-2 victory. Cardiff City with a crucial 2-1 win over Westlakes. And finally, to wrap out Zone 1, Warners Bay getting a clinical 2-0 win over Stockton Sharks. Definitely some interesting results out of there. Anything strike you?
Some big results there, and the good thing about the ZFL1 is they've played all their catch-up games, and so it'll all go down to this weekend. So a nice fresh week during the week. But the Mayfield United Newcastle Olympic game, that was a big 6-pointer, wasn't it? And you'd probably I think Olympic, they're a mathematical chance, but that's a massive result for Mayfield United, who have been right on the cusp all year, up and down, just inside, just outside. But this is the time to find your form, right, leading into the last week. And they've put themselves into 5th, and now it's up to them to hold it. And that's a big result. It's in the context of that top 5.
Definitely, Cam, you're a bit of a stats guy. You like looking at the numbers. You did point out that, albeit Olympic in 8th as it stands, still with a mathematical chance for them, Cardiff, and I think it's Warners Bay as well, still fighting for that last spot, trying to get Mayfield out of there.
Yeah, and most of them got decent results that meant something for them. Obviously, Katara South drawing with Swansea was a good result for Swansea, but they're not actually any possibility anymore, sitting in ninth. And Olympic not quite getting the result, but they actually do have good goal difference as well. So if they, if results just sort of go their way, they might be able to sneak in. Obviously Warners Bay getting a crucial win for their season. Other than that, there's a lot of activity still in the final week, and it's pretty exciting.
The Warners Bay result, like they've come from nowhere, really, haven't they? I mean, they must have had a huge week with the catch-up games to put themselves into a position. They were really languishing for at least half of the season. So great to see them finishing so well and to give themselves an opportunity. And obviously Cardiff, who we've followed quite closely throughout the year, it's going to be a real cracking weekend. And Cardiff with a great 2-1 win over West Lakes, who have been slowly building their way away from the relegation zone, and were able to do that really well. But that's a great away win. It's always tough to go out to West Lakes and get a result. So their form leading into this, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the matchups this week.
Definitely, and as we do say, there is still chances for the likes of Olympic, Cardiff and Warners Bay to sneak into the top 5, but they do have to obviously get their result this weekend, but hoping that then Mayfield do need to actually drop the points as well, and I believe they're against Stockton, which from memory, the last time they faced Stockton, it was quite a close game, so there is definitely still possibility there.
So a draw for Mayfield United, which would, they're 2 points clear, aren't they, of the nearest?
Yeah, one or 2 point. That would definitely, any points from Mayfield will knock Olympic and I think Warners Bay out of it. Yeah. But
so Mayfield are ahead on goal difference of Olympic.
It'd be close. It'd definitely be close. But you'd have to think for the Greek Giants that they'd be very disappointed with where they are, leaving it down to this last ditch effort here. Such a great club, and it's obviously not all down and out for them, but being at this point of the season and being where they are, they'd be disappointed. Obviously, likes of Warners Bay and Cardiff as well. But almost I'm seeing the pressure is all on Mayfield.
Yeah.
You can look at it that way, but they've got the points on the board. They know they just got to win, and you'd go into that any day of the week. You're not chasing a result. You just need to get your side of it right. And I think they should hold on. That'll be interesting. Some good games there.
Definitely. Looking now into Zone 2, and we'll kick it off with the Bar TV Match of the Round for round 22, which saw Bulwarra versus South Maitland in a little bit of a Maitland derby up there. Bulwarra getting not only a 3-1 win over South Maitland, but doing it in the first 3 or 4 minutes, actually, scoring all their goals. And Wilso, when we walked in tonight, you just had to double check that you were reading it right, and I also had to double check it this morning when I got to the office. It's something that has to be in the record book,
I guess
surely.
we'll ask Cam. He's I'm sure on top of all this sort of stuff, but I saw it come up as 1 goal in the first minute, and then I saw the score 3-0, and it was 4 minutes. I'm thinking there's no way. But it's crazy scenes, really crazy scenes. Have you heard of anything like this, Cam, at any level, really?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure a bit of digging you'd find something, but thinking about it, it's pretty miraculous. And I mean, even the 4 goals scored, 25th minute was the final goal scored, and then nothing for the rest of the game.
But the first minute, the first 10 seconds, the ball goes back off the kickoff, back to the centre half. I think he just launched it.
Yeah,
the striker's got in behind. There's a mountain of players in there looking for the ball, and it had to be 15 seconds. It's like 15 to 20 seconds max.
Yeah,
because it was one direct ball, fighting for the ball in the box, couple of little missed kicks, and then somehow it's in. Yeah, and it was I'd like to get back to the kickoff and still score those. You've still got a minute or so in between. So I'm really like to see that how that unfolded. To be fair,
Well, I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me, I think the Premier League's fastest goal is something like 12 seconds, maybe between 12 to 20 seconds. So this one from Samuel Walls there from Bawara.
I'm happy to go with the first goal. I just can't work out at least two more within 3 minutes.
And two of them were fairly scrappy goals. So it wasn't like they just ran and scored. It was bits and
need to
pieces
watch it
that went
again.
each way.
And then there's nothing for the second half. It's a bizarre afternoon up there at Bulwarra.
You would have hated to be running late to be spectating this game, because you get there even 5 minutes late and you've missed 3 of the goals.
If you're the coach of that team, 3-0 down after 3 minutes, I don't know. I'd probably walk home, honestly. I'd have just left.
Well, credit to South Maitland, though.
Good on 'em.
After 20 minutes after conceding those 3 and 3, they did come back with a consolation of their own from Tyler Murray. But for the rest of the game,
Super
must have been
really.
Yeah, it must have been a pretty hard slog.
It was a pretty good free kick as well that he managed to get.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was in off the bottom of the crossbar. He hit it quite true. So it did go quite quick, and I think the cameraman of the day tried pretty hard to catch it. But and
I need to watch it. I want to see the expressions on the players' faces, the defenders. I'd be looking for a hole to dig myself in. 3-0 down. They're super resilient to end that game ends up 3-1.
Yeah.
So South Maitland, take a bow, honestly. You've come from what you had to experience. I think that's
Joseph
hilarious,
McFadden
really.
as well, Bulwarra, getting around the keeper and just putting it away. Whether that was enough in itself, but other than that, he was awarded the man of the match for the game. So congratulations to Joseph McFadden for that one. And we will touch on as well, we do apologise for not having commentary there. There was a miscommunication between Bar TV, Zone Football, and others involved. But we do apologise to Bulwarra, because it did look like they put on quite a great day, as they always do. But unfortunately didn't have the commentary there. But still got the cameras up there, still got to showcase what they were doing. And look,
it looked a good atmosphere.
The
like the
ground
goals. It
looked
was
nice
an old
as
boys'
well.
day, and
Yeah.
they were celebrating a few players, and maybe Harry was up there and handed out a heap of schnitzels to the players before the game or during the game.
Yeah.
It was, that's a bizarre one. You got to be so intrigued how that played out.
Looking across the rest of the division there, we've got Crowders Bay with a thumping of Mayfield United, 12-0 there. Nelson Bay with a 2-0 win over Southern United. New Lambton Juniors going down, not without a fight though, in a 6-2 result against Minmai. North United Wolves getting a 4-0 win over Lambton Jaffers, and rounding it out with Merriweather Advance going down 3-0 to Cooks Hill. Lots of goals throughout the competition. Not sure if any of them were scored as quick as the Bulwarra ones, but I guess, look, you've got to start with pointing out Crowders Bay. I'm not sure how many, if any, your mate McBreen got on the score sheet, but
as far as I read, none.
I heard that as well. He would have put him on Instagram or something if he did. So I mean, it's not a good way for Mayfield United to finish, but Crowders Bay are just flying, and like we said a couple of weeks ago, Bales will just have him. He'll be going. We're not taking the foot off the pedal. We're going into these semi-finals. We want to be unbeaten. He'd have a few goals there for them, and obviously they're following that, because you can still slip up or you can put in an average performance, but they've just been obviously very dominant in that game.
Definitely, and you touch on as well, they're still looking and they're still capable of that unbeatable season. Midweek game against Norths will be challenging, and then they do travel up to Foster to face Southern United on the weekend. So still two games that they shouldn't be counting out as easy ones there.
I think it's a good thing that they're playing those 2 tough games.
Yeah, 100%.
I think just to keep their heads out of the clouds, and I think both games will be tough. You know, I think the midweek one, you know, the Wolves will be looking to just, you know, showcase what they've got, and yeah, I think that'll be a tough one for the midweek. That could really go either way.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the Southern United one as well, that was 2-1 back in, I think, round 15 or something like that, where it was pretty much going to be Southern United up until the 87th or 88th minute or something like that. Then Crowders Bay scored twice.
Yeah.
Calling that game was an incredible atmosphere on the day, but it was, you know, it really felt like Southern United were going to get the result. And if anyone's going to cause trouble, it's if you're looking at Crowders Bay, they're probably going, well, we need to be aware of what happened previously.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
And with, like, you can't count out just because Southern obviously having a run of unfortunate results and slipping down, but they will still be wanting to fire on the weekend because they'll want to still play finals. And for them in 5th place currently, that is slowly starting to get away from them, but they still have one hand on it. So they'll be looking to get a result there.
They control their destiny as well. You know, so they know they need to win. But it's a tough one, of course, to win. And they really are looking over their shoulder, and really like the work of Minmai Wanderers over this second round, and you know, considering the start they had, and and another big win leading into the semi-finals if they are to make it, and they'll be giving themselves a pretty big shout. And when you think that they're relying on the Crabs to go up and get a result,
definitely.
So they'd be pretty sprightly this week. They've got through the tough. You know, they might have a game midweek, but they're sitting right there. So, yeah, there's no reason why, you know, they've really have turned their season around.
Definitely. Lambton Jaffers still sniffing around there as well in 7th. Even with that result, there's still mathematically a chance to be in there. Another one for me that stands out, Cooks Hill, just coming out in these last few games, getting their results there and sneaking up into 3rd place. Going into the finals, you've got to be worried about coming up against Cooks Hill.
Well, Cam, it's a cliche, isn't it? But you just the 3 points, when you get 3 points continually and you're not getting draws and you're just picking off teams like Cooks Hill have. And they're just like Minmai. They were in and around, like they were higher than Minmai, but they've always been in and around, and now they find themselves in 3rd, and it's off the back of just continued wins.
Yeah,
they're not slipping up with draws. They're ticking teams off, and like you said, Mace, I think they're going to be pretty tricky in the semi-finals.
Yeah, definitely. Cam, any other results stand out for you there in that list?
No other results stand out to me, but I have been reminded, just thinking over it, that at the Crowders Bay Southern United game previously in the season, I had a chat with one of the Southern United supporters after the game, and they said to me that, you know, it was disappointing that they didn't get the result on that occasion, but they were going to be up for the finals and they were going to really compete. So I'm hoping for that supporters' sake that they do get into the finals, but it's going to be a very difficult task for them to actually cement that spot.
But they're up there, their last game. They're probably, you know, they're going to make something of it if the cameras are up there as well, and they've probably got a big day planned. And if they need a win or a draw or whatever it may be after catch-up games this week, it's going to be, you know, Crowders Bay have played midweek, and it's a big one. That'll be a ripper. I think that'll be a ripper of a game.
For sure. Just wanted to take a minute to thank all of our great sponsors of the Zone In podcast. We have Deploy Football, the leading developers and manufacturers of performance sporting solutions, not only just including our awesome balls, and also sportswear with all of our grassroots clubs in helping them design and produce amazing apparel. One of our other major sponsors, Solved Marketing. If you want your problems solved are the ones to go with. Helping businesses, brands solve complex challenges with ingenuity and creative solutions. Solved Marketing is our go-to agency for all of our marketing needs, and we cannot recommend them enough. And finally, Harry Schnitzel Joint. You guys know every week, Man of the Match is presented with the Harry Snitzel Award. Definitely go check Harry Snitzel out. And we know that all the Man of the Match recipients have been so excited to get their Harry Snitzel Man of the Match Award and get down to Harry Snitzel. And finally, to round out the results from round 22, we have Zone League 3. Definitely some shocking and some surprising results throughout here. Barnsley getting a 2-2 draw with Madawi. Madawi obviously needing those points, but so was Barnsley. Rutherford with a 3-3 draw against the now premiers of Zone 3, Greater Branxton. Bellbird going down 6-0 to Merewether United. Southern Lakes getting, I would say, a shock win, 2-0 over second place Curry, with Charlestown getting a 2-1 win over Garden Suburb, with Fletcher having the bye.
All of those results have influenced the table massively.
Definitely,
all the results that happened had to happen for that table to close up like it has. And that it really has happened. Barnsley, it's a good point for them, keeps them in touch. Greeter, they've wrapped it up. It's it's one of those games that they probably thought they were just going to do easy. They might have rested some players, and that's definitely no disrespect to Rutherford, but when you look at how they were travelling compared to Greeter, Merewether. I'll let Cam talk about this because I'm over talking about Mason's Merewether United, but you must have got on the team on the score sheet, surely.
Well, I barely squeezed my way into the team. I was a impact sub, but no.
Did you make an impact?
Yes, not on the score sheet, but I pulled some strings. I just let the other boys have a bit of fun for once. So yeah, just let them do their thing. But yeah, for me, and we'll get to you, Cam, as well. As I said, my shock for the round is Southern Lakes, who obviously I would say that desperation for finals footy kicked in there.
Yeah.
Knowing they're in
Which
fifth.
you did speak about. I know what you're leading to. You tipped this result.
Yeah.
You did tip it.
But yeah, knowing they're in fifth, Charlestown, Barnsley sniffing around there just below them, they've been getting good results as well. They would have been stoked with that.
It's a big win.
Again, as you mentioned with Greeter, maybe Curry resting a few players, had a few players out, so maybe not their full strength, but even still, just to beat a Curry squad is a good achievement for anyone, let alone Southern Lakes.
Yeah, I mean, Curry looked phenomenal against Greeter earlier in the season. I think they won 4-0 in that game, and it was just clinical stuff, which their forward line has a lot of goals between them. Not to score is a bit questionable, considering how free-flowing the goals have been for Curry this season.
Most definitely. Guess there's a bit of a drive there from the valley down to the coast, but you wouldn't imagine that would have played too much of a part. But yeah, Barnsley as well, coming up as dark horses. That draw with Madawi, I've former mentioned as well. Madawi definitely needed those points to stay in third place. But yeah, the whole finals, obviously Greeter now with the premiership, Curry still enough ahead that they're in second, but that whole ladder from third to I think seventh for Barnsley, still coming down to the wire with midweeks, especially in this division, and also the games on the weekend.
The big games this week during the week, like you said, the Barnsley one's a big result against Madawi. Especially with Madawi, a chance to not wrap up third, but put themselves in a position now. They've brought Merewether back in with that thumping 6-0 win over Bellbird, a hapless Bellbird. But the other big ones that we haven't really touched on is the Charlestown one. They've slipped themselves into sixth, and we've seen a bit of them over the year. They've got a couple of good players that have played at a decent, a high level. If they're sort of fit this time of the year. They've just scraped in against Garden Suburb, but they've put themselves in a position as well. And really that one spot at the bottom there of the top five is really up for grabs.
100%. But yeah, it'll be definitely interesting across all three of these divisions to see the final game day results and wrapping out the season with still so much to play for. And as we speak of that, I have picked out 3 games outside the match of the round games that I see as some of the big ones. Leading us off in Zone 1, Saturday at 2:30 kickoff. Cardiff City 6 on 32 points, coming up against 7th place 32 points Warners Bay at Evans Park. So just purely based off the points there, on the same points, obviously goal difference being the only thing dividing these two. We say both teams need a result, and it's in the fate of the players across from them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it cannot that atmosphere at Evans Park. I can imagine it's going to be electric on the weekend.
Yeah, I think they have a big crowd. Both teams need to win. I think it'll be end to end. Both teams have got match winners. Yes, they'll be keeping an eye on what's happening over at Mayfield, but they've got to get the job done first. And if they do, they put themselves into the opportunity of making the top 5. So a lot on offer for both teams. And Warners Bay, they've got nothing to lose. Like they'd be thinking, how have we got ourselves to this point from where we were? Or they could also be saying, why the hell didn't we start a bit earlier? So, but I think they'll be looking at it in the sense of we've got nothing to lose. We're going for it. We're away from home. We're going to throw everything at Cardiff and just hope for the best in the other games.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think if you could have put an extra camera on another game throughout the rest of the round, I think that's probably the one that you look at because it could be so meaningful for either team. And, well, not only just them, but also the Mayfield side above them. So that's probably the game that you go, hey, can we get an extra camera there? But obviously you're not going to be able to.
It's probably the match of the round.
Yeah.
But obviously we're looking at the 3 teams that have premiers and deserving of their the day in the up in lights basically. So it's going to be a big game and it'll be one that we'll be all waiting for the result on.
Yeah, and both of these teams we have seen on the cameras previous in the season. Most recently, Cardiff out at Swansea. Cam, you were out there, and look, that result on the day for Cardiff didn't flatter them.
No,
but you still saw like a lot of those Cardiff guys. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
As a team, it may just not have been their day, but they can definitely, they have the potential there to turn it on. But so do Warners Bay. We saw them out against Olympic. I think same situation. Olympic won on that day, but Warners Bay still showed glimpses of their capability. Yeah,
I mean, you can't really take it too serious in terms of excuses, but for Cardiff City, it was a horrible day at Swansea. The field was, obviously it was great to get a game going, but the field was in no condition to really have a game on it, and it was a tough game for them. They were tough working during the game, but the result just very clearly didn't go their way, losing 3-0, and they very rarely got opportunities really to actually score goals. It was really a tough game overall, and for Warners Bay against Olympic as well. That was, I think Warners Bay, I can't remember exactly what the scoreline was at halftime, but it was either closer or it was 0-0. And Warners Bay looked really up for it, and then it sort of slipped away. You saw the quality of Olympic on that day. But Warners Bay, and they looked pretty solid up until the halftime break. So for both teams, I think there's disappointing moments. Maybe they'll be better off without a camera there, you know? So
I think if Cardiff slip into the semi-finals, they're going to be one to watch. I really do. Definitely. I've had a soft spot for Cardiff all year. I've seen a bit of them. I know a few of the players. The Eagles played them in a cup. I was really impressed with them. If they're on song and they get through, I think they could be a bit of a dark horse. But there's four dark horses
exactly
in that group. Croatia's sitting at the top, but I feel like Warners Bay have done a terrific job to get where they are. I think they must have had a really tough schedule. I just feel like Cardiff might win this one and give themselves a chance to make the top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Looking then at Zone League 2, we have Bulwarra sitting in 4th on 40 points with a game in hand to be played midweek. Coming up against second place, North United Wolves on 47 points, also with a game in hand. I do know the game in hand for Norths is the Crabs. this week. So not so much here a game of jumping each other. Obviously, the 7 points separation over the two places, but this game more picked out, like, again, another Maitland derby for Bulwarra this weekend. North's obviously wanting to get those points as well, but for Bulwarra, they'll be trying to keep their position in fourth or try and just put that pressure on the teams above. We've obviously spoken about the match of the round, and we know that Bulwarra do come out quick. Norths were on the cameras early in the season as well against South Maitland, coincidentally as well. They have some talent as well, all around the park. So yeah, this one again could easily be a match of the round on a normal weekend.
It could have easily been, and it was.
It was.
Yes. Last weekend, it was meant to be. 2 weekends ago, it was meant to be, and obviously the situation around the fields wasn't really to the liking of actually getting that game going. But it looks like a match of the round because it was going to be.
But yeah, definitely, this is going to be a great matchup here, even just for form into running into the finals for both these teams.
Yeah, it's very important this time of year. There's a fair chance they could meet at any stage of the semi-final series, so they'll be just wanting to, some coaches might go, I don't want to show too much, or they want to get one up on them and take winning form into the semi-final. So it'll be interesting to see which way that both sides go, and I think it'll be based on how their troops are and how they're feeling, and after, especially after North have to play the Crabs midweek as well. So it really does depend on personnel.
I've just read ahead to the next one and I've rolled my eyes.
So I guess on that point, we do introduce the Zone 3 game Saturday at 3:30. Merewether United, 4th place, 30 points, the game in hand to play this week. Coming up against Rutherford in 8th, 21 points, also a game in hand. You do laugh, Cameron, but this one was more so picked for Rutherford's finishing form, as it seems, with them coming off that that draw against Greta. Just in terms of the competition, and yes, I do play for Merewether, but I'm not discounting Rutherford, albeit in eighth position. Their outfit that they have, and as I say, their previous results recently. This is definitely going to be a tougher game than the actual ladder would suggest, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, you get a result against the would-be premiers, and you're obviously a danger in whoever's going to face you. So I would expect that those at Merewether wouldn't be taking this game lightly.
Yeah, for sure. Merewether's game in hand is against Southern United as well. So those Southern United also getting that result against Curry. So 2 tough games for Merewether, who are now in the position to be able to jump into 3rd with 2 wins this week.
Yeah, the midweek game's a big one. Sets them up for the home game in amongst the houses there at Myambla. I think you're playing down their chances. I think Merewether, especially if they get the result midweek, they'll be looking for 3rd spot, and I think they just win.
Yeah, definitely tough games across all 3 divisions there highlighted. But as we do now look to the 3 match of the round games, we are definitely treating you this weekend. We do follow all 3 premiers of the divisions, awarding them after these games. No matter the result, they have all secured the premierships. So we do have all Saturday, 6th of September, 2:30 kickoffs, starting with Zone League 1, crowning champions Newcastle Croatia on 56 points, coming up against 11th place on 11 points, West Lakes Wildcats out at Pasadena. Look, I haven't ever been to Pasadena myself. I do hear rumours that it's not the prettiest ground, but I'm sure
it's definitely one of the smallest grounds I've ever played on.
I'm sure the Croatians will be out in droves for this game, so you may not even be able to see grass. There'll be that, I would presume there'll be that many people there to celebrate this premiership team.
Oh, and they deserve it. I mean, you look at the points deficit there. My math's not terrific, but it's over 5 times more points than West Lakes United. It's a big amount of points, 56 points to win it, worthy of moving out of ZFL 1. And yeah, they deserve a big crowd. They deserve everyone there celebrating and then getting themselves ready for the finals.
Definitely. Cam?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I'm set to be at that game, so I'm hoping that there's a big atmosphere. There's been some good atmospheres overall from the games I have been at this season, but I wouldn't be shocked if that's going to be the best.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, Croatia only played the match of the round in round 1 and now for the final round as well. So, either end of the spectrum, they've had the first opener of the season and they'll be having the last.
Yep.
If I'm at 1, that's the one I can be at. It's the closest to the I have a luncheon.
Sounds like there's
around 12:30.
So. Little bit of a scrap by the commentators to see who gets there.
No, I think me and Cam will do it.
But yeah, obviously, Cam, as you say, Croatia opening our season, them also closing our season seems poetic. And who's to say that we don't see them close out the whole year with a grand final game as well? Definitely, yeah. Unanimously, everyone's on the same page. I think the Croatian machine that Pops has built out there, and yeah, very much deserving to be promoted into Northern League 1. I'm sure the teams up in that division are terrified of them coming in, and I'm sure some of those teams and representatives might even be at this game watching of what will come to them next year.
Well, Pops hasn't sat on his hands. Even with the results they've just signed more players. They've signed quality players throughout the year. They're looking ahead. They're not resting on their laurels. They want to win every game, and they want to do it with quality, which they have done. The Suns, they've slipped away from them, but don't write them off come semi-final time. Borrowdale will have a plan to unlock Croatia, but they've just been a fearsome outfit from day one. They from the first game of the season, they were dynamic. I think they'll be dynamic on the weekend. So we'll be looking for, they've recruited well, and like you said, they move into the Northern League next year, and I think there'll be some teams looking over their shoulder there. So, but they've got a lot of work to do. They've still got heaps ahead of them for this year, and lots of excitement ahead, I think, for all the fans come semi-final time.
Most definitely. We then look to the premiers of Zone 2 who will be taking Croatia's spot in the top division next year. Crowders Bay travelling to Foster, currently in first place with 60 points, a game in hand to be played this week. So they're still, as we've mentioned, on track for their undefeated season. Being hosted by 5th place Southern United on 33 points. I did mention earlier that, you've got to think, bit of travel for Crowders Bay, Southern United really pushing to keep their finals hopes alive. This will be a cracking game as well, even with the disparity of positions. But definitely another obviously great game on display here.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it earlier, how important it's going to be for Southern United just to make the 5. So I think they're gonna hit the ground running. They're going to make it really difficult for the Crabs. I'm itching to get up to watch the Crabs, but it's just a little bit too far this weekend. But I'll definitely be. I'm looking forward to watching them over the semi-final series again. 60 points. They're just unbeaten. They could be unbeaten, for the season by the end of this week. And then they're really up in the lights in the same way as Croatia are as well. So we're looking at 2 quality sides, and like you said, they replace Croatia. They replace Azuri moving up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they fare next year. But again, there's so much ahead of them in the next month.
Definitely. And do you know of any clauses in McBreen's contract that for such an away day? Is there like a kilometre
I couldn't
limit?
imagine he'd be going up there. I couldn't imagine he would be up there. He may even there's no A League or there's no
Not yet.
the cup.
No.
The cup's over for a little while.
Yeah.
He was down in Melbourne over the weekend, I think, unless he did it from the studio. I don't know. But yeah, there's no reason why he couldn't go.
Yeah.
You just have to ask the missus, I suppose.
Well, interesting to see how that pans out for him. But yeah, Cam, you mentioned as well, you commentated the reverse fixture of this one. Went down to the wire there. So maybe are you expecting another similar result here?
I don't know if I'm expecting a similar result, but for Southern United, I'm sure they'll take some sort of experience from that they were really in the contest up until the 88th minute, and even in the 88th minute they were still in the contest. It was still 1-1 at that point. Just the 89th minute when they lost it. So I think there's probably a big chance of taking some prior knowledge from that and really going, hey, we really took it to them. There's a good chance for us here, just hopefully get over the line for them. And again, they're hosting, so it's not a trip away like they had to when they did play that other fixture. So there's a few things that might just be mentally going their way.
100%. And finally, wrapping out these Premier fixtures, heading out to the beautiful Hunter Valley up at Miller Park, sees Greater Branxton first place, 47 points, hosting 7th place, 25 points with a game in hand, Barnsley United. As all these games are, Greater will be awarded their premiership on the weekend. But I can't see this being an easy day for them just to breeze through Barnsley and collect that premier's plate.
The only thing going against Barnsley is Greater's result last week. If they had a really easy win last week against Rutherford, I still think Barnsley are a chance. I think Bear will have them pumped up. They've probably left their run just too late, but they do have a game midweek, and they are going to put themselves in a position. They're going to have to beat Greater. They're playing in front of a crowd that are there to celebrate, their premiership. They've got a lot to play for, and I think the main thing is if it was a poor performance, if you want to call it a poor performance last week, I'm sure their coach will be nailing them on making sure this is a good performance before the semi-finals. That said, Barnsley have got everything to play for as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Not much to add on to that one. I mean, the only time I've seen Greater play this season was against Curry, and they looked pretty flat on that occasion. So, there's obviously a chance for either team, and potentially just with the fact that Greater's already got it secured that, maybe they can ease off the gas a little bit. They haven't gone undefeated. They don't have that extra thing on it like Crowders Bay do. So, there's obviously a chance there for Barnsley, and I think there's an opportunity for a result for them.
Barnsley, I know as well, keen as mustard to get on the camera and everything. Unfortunately for them, we have tried to schedule them, I think, twice.
Right in the middle of that wet,
for the cameras, and they haven't been able to get on, so they are itching to show what they're about. Obviously as well, just sitting outside that 5, their midweek result will be crucial, and then coming into this weekend as well, they'll be down to the wire, really wanting to get a result here. So, those are the 3 match of the round games, awarding premiers of every division, but definitely can't count out the opposition of these games. Though across the board, we looked at the other 3 games that you should go get down to watch. Just final games of the season for all clubs. Get down, support your clubs. It'll be, great. I'm sure a great day at all grounds and great atmospheres for all. And definitely tune in to those match of the round games and stick around to the very end where they are awarded their Premier Plate, which will be great spectacles for all 3 of those clubs. as well, a final note, the Zone League presentation night is coming up. Both of you boys, sure, going to be there alongside myself and lots of others. But RSVPs are closing very soon. So players, coaches, managers, committee members, supporters, partners, all invited. Just get in contact with your club if you are interested. There's still lots of tickets available, but they are going quick. So yeah, get onto your clubs, get your clubs to contact the association, and we'll book you in for that. But yeah, 3rd of October over at the Newcastle Exhibition Centre. Be a great night. Awarding over this next week or so. We've all got to put our heads together, do the tough job of picking some, really, really exciting awards. Obviously, the Golden Boot and the Best and Fairest pick themselves, but we have the privilege of picking the Team of the Years, the Bar TV Player of the Year, and
it's going to be
everything
great.
like that. So very exciting times still to come. Plus, then not to mention all the finals games to come as well that we'll be broadcasting. All the excitement leading up to grand finals as well. A 3-day weekend for the grand finals. So still lots and lots.
Huge stuff, isn't it?
Lots and lots to
Big
come.
month.
Yeah, huge month. It is kind of scary that by the end of this September month we'll be done and dusted, but there's still so much football to be played, broadcast to you guys, commentated by you guys, and
to finish it off, to celebrate, we're going to get to see Cam in black tie, and he's a very, very good dancer from what I hear.
I have heard he can bust a move. Yeah,
he's got.
Don't know where you heard that from,
He's
but
got some hips on him. So if any partners of players are looking to create some jealousy in their relationship, get yourself around Cam. He's a very good dancer.
How are you with a little 2-step tango?
horrible.
Horrible?
Yeah, no. So I've been hyped up for no reason.
Well, we might have to do a little. There might be some BTS cameras on the night, just getting around, and the highlight of that one may be Cam's dancing, or it may not be. Who knows?
It'll be a low light. It won't be a highlight.
But yeah, that's been another episode. Can you believe it, boys? We're on episode 23. It's been such a long year.
It's been a wild ride. It's been great.
Definitely has.
Fun and.
Definitely has. But no, thank you, boys, for joining us tonight. And yeah, we will catch you next week for another episode of the Zone In podcast. Cheers.
This is the Zone Football League.